The Northern Elders Forum's indictment of the President Buhari-led government getting some reactions. We dissect some of the issues raised tonight on the program. And President Muhammadu Buhari today assured the international community that his administration is committed to securing the release of all children and other victims of abduction by terrorists in Nigeria. Hello everyone and welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbale, Channels Television's global headquarters here in Lagos, Nigeria. Well, let's get started with some news coming from the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, where the party appears to have made a consideration and a move in addressing the concerns of some aggrieved members of the party who think the reconciliation committee set up by the party was flawed. Today, the party's working committee says President Buhari is in consultation with the party, have reviewed the membership of the party's National Reconciliation Committee, which now has Chief Bisi Akande as the head of what they call the APC reconstituted 12-member Reconciliation Committee. The members include sitting governors of the APC, 7 senators, and some ministers. The party says the committee is empowered to address grievances of party members across the country and resolving existing conflicts, all with a view to fostering oneness, strengthening the party for better governance, and ensure unity of purpose within the party. The committee, to be headed by Chief Bisi Akande, is expected to be inaugurated tomorrow. We have some stories for you on our political roundup.
A federal high court in Abuja has granted bail to former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mohammed Adoke, on the same terms and conditions earlier granted by Justice Idris Kutigi of the FCT High Court, Gwagwalada. Justice Binta Murtala Nyako granted bail to Mr. Adoke and the second defendant, Aliu Abubakar, on after listening to bail applications by their lawyers. Justice Idris Kutigi had on January the 30th this year granted bail to Mr. Adoke and his co-defendant Aliu Abubakar in the sum of 50 million naira and one surety in like sum. The judge also ordered the 2 defendants to provide one surety each who must be resident in Abuja and own landed property within the Federal Capital Territory. Political leaders and stakeholders from Imo East Senatorial District, also known as Owerri Zone, have passed a vote of confidence on the Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma, urging him to continue to deliver good governance to the people of Imo State. Reading out a communique after a 4-hour meeting held in Owerri, the Imo State capital, the leaders say they are confident in the administration of Governor Hope Uzodinma and lauds the Supreme Court judgment that led to his emergence. They promise to continue to render their support to his administration to ensure that the people of Imo State enjoy good governance and dividends of democracy.
We will continue to stand behind our governor, His Excellency Senator Hope Uzodinma, and his deputy, His Excellency Professor Placid Njoku.
Henceforth, appeal cases in northern part of Nigeria may no longer be delayed following the establishment of the Kano Division of the Court of Appeal. At the commissioning ceremony, Governor Abdullahi Ganduje acknowledged the appeal court was requested by his government as part of resolve to ensure speedy decongestion of prisons and reduce the burden of excessive litigations in the region.
So much, everyone. So let's get talking about issues of governance in the country, especially as it concerns matters of national security. So some assurances are coming over those who have been taken captive by terrorists in Nigeria, as President Muhammadu Buhari all the way in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia says it will do all it can to ensure they are back home. President Muhammadu Buhari today assured the international community of his administration's commitment to securing the release of all children and other victims of abduction by terrorists in Nigeria. The president renewed this pledge at a high-level breakfast dialogue during a side event at the 33rd AU Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The president is quoted as saying, quote, "Let me categorically reassure you of the steadfast commitment of the government of Nigeria to ensure the freedom of all kidnapped children from the shackles of Boko Haram. We will not relent until every child, boy or girl, every Nigerian adult in custody of Boko Haram is freed." Yesterday, the Northern Elders Forum raised an alarm over the security situation in the country and are demanding a total overhaul of the nation's security architecture, other public safety agencies, and replacing them with competent hands to deal with several security challenges confronting the nation. The forum also laments that poverty, particularly in the north, and massive social security have worsened under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. The group says it is difficult to see how President Buhari can accept the challenge to radically improve his handling of our security situation nonetheless.
The forum regrets that by any standard of judgment, the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari has failed the nation in the vital area of improving its security. Poverty, particularly in the north, and massive social security problems have worsened under this administration.
The Northern Elders Forum says President Muhammadu Buhari has failed the nation. But the presidency has not taken these lying down, saying the presidency, the Northern Elders Forum, is led by what they call a leader without an army, without a troop. The president, has, of course, has responded to that. Take a listen to him.
The man that signed the statement, Professor Ango Abdullahi, a former vice chancellor of Ahmadu Bello University, take him out of that forum and you can hardly point at anybody else. That's why in our official reaction to that statement, we said, it's a general without troops.
So then, where do we stand from here? Statement coming from the president in Addis Ababa, making assurances that, look, things may be happening in terms of security, ugly things are happening, but he is assured today that the release of those who are held captive by Boko Haram insurgents. Just earlier today, we heard about the killings of at least 10 people by Boko Haram insurgents in some parts of the northeastern region of the country. So where do we go from here? The word of the Northern Elders Forum saying the president and his administration has failed, and the president is saying we have not failed. We, in fact, are working hard to ensure that lives are saved in Nigeria. Let's get talking, everyone, shall we? Let's get my partner tonight from our Abuja studio into the conversation. Mr. Babangana Jimmy, he's a member of the APC. He joins us from our Abuja studio. Anthony Hayilabo is a member of the PDP and a lawyer. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on tonight. Let's get talking. Let me begin with a lawyer and a PDP member. The Northern Elders Forum, well, the president has said, look, they are biased because they supported the candidate of the PDP in the 2019 election. Can we take the word of the Northern Elders Forum that this president has failed?
Well, I don't think if we were to take the word of the Northern Elders Forum, it would be complete without taking the word of Nigerians. I think across board, the National Assembly has raised it as a point of order, both in the Senate and in the House of Representatives. I want to add to that and look at the comment coming from the presidency, which I mean, from day one, we've always said communication was one of the biggest problems of this government. How are you telling a government that it is not performing well in the area of security and and the government spokesperson comes and takes a swipe at the character of the person making that comment, no matter who he is or who Ango Abdullahi presumes to be. You don't, I mean, if you want to even take this down the lane they're going, do you remember the returning officer for President Buhari in the 2015 election was the same man that was reading that statement, Hakim Baba Ahmed? He was the returning officer on the day of election for this president. So when you begin to take swipe at people and saying if you take out somebody from the room, meanwhile the person that was your returning officer is the person reading the statement, I mean, you are trivializing the issue. The issue is that Nigerians can no longer travel.
So when they say that they are saying, the Northern Elders Forum is saying that the administration of the Buhari-led government has failed. Is that a fair statement to say in the context of the issue of security and governance?
I would think, even if you want to ask fair, it's even an understatement. If you ask me, personally, it's an understatement. Can anybody tell you that they can safely drive from Abuja to Kaduna today? That's not true. My friend traveled to Kogi State and came back and was having a party because he survived, he said, the trepidation on the trip. Please, we must face things as they are. We must begin to tell Nigerians the truth. We've raised the issues that our security chiefs are not living up to standard. They've not performed. It's time to let them go. They're past due retirement. These are people who should be helping or advising people who are ready to fight this insurgency. There are too many complaints, too many deaths. Are we going to continue like this? Does life have value in Nigeria today? How can anybody in Nigeria today take a cursory glance at all the headlines on all newspapers today? Is it that people are being kidnapped, someone is being beheaded, someone is being abducted in Niger, in the Northeast? It has even gotten so bad that the chairman of CAN, Adamawa, was beheaded. We saw the video. How can you tell anybody that we're safe in this country, that there's security, that we should relax, that children will be returned? We heard just 2-3 weeks ago that Leah Sharibu has delivered a baby boy for the people that captured her, the Boko Haram terrorists that captured her, that she delivered a baby boy. Is this the same country that we promised to return the Chibok girls? They are still complaining. People are still saying they are missing.
Just a moment. Let me allow Mr. Ajimi to come into the conversation. Mr. Ajimi, the same question I asked Mr. Hilabo. Is it fair to say that the government of President Buhari has failed in the context of governance, security, economy, and particularly on the issue of security?
Good evening, Nigerians. Sean, you see, it's not a fair statement to make, especially coming from the elders of the Northern Forum. The thing is, all about security is not about governance alone. It's about the citizenry. Anywhere in this part of the world, citizenry must help the government in caution of that day to work. Not that the government must use every instrument it has to work. They are not God. They work with the people. The citizenry must work towards it. They must come and work. There is a lot of conspiracy, international conspiracy involved in this kind of sort of insurgency and what do you have? All this planning, henchmen and all this, there are a lot of international conspiracy that our citizens are used to carry out these attacks and all these criminalities. If the citizenry would be fair enough to the nation, it's the citizenry that failed, not the government failed. We, the citizenry, failed the country. So the citizenry must sit up. We must all come together, put arms together. Forget our setting blame. We don't need to shift blame to anybody. If you remove these security chips, who are you bringing? Are you inventing other human beings? The same Nigerians that carry the same training they got. Even if you bring anybody else, for the first 3 months they work like hell coming in, and it will be normalized again. So the thing is not a matter of removing somebody or putting somebody in there. It's a matter of the citizenry. We must walk up to our responsibility as individually and collectively to help the government of the day to work out both within the social and military and security.
Ambassador Ajimi, we need to take a break now. But ponder on this for a moment. I mean, a lot of people will say failure is not the end of the world. You might fail as a government, but retrace your step. I mean, when you say the government has failed, is that the end of the world? Ponder on that. I will get your comment and that of Mr. Hilabo when we come back from this break, everyone. Stay with us. We are considering the issue, has the government of Buhari failed this country in terms of what they promised and the issue of governance, according to the Northern Elders Forum? That's what gets us talking tonight. We'll come back after this break, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. So what gets us talking is the Northern Elders Forum giving a thumbs down to President Muhammadu Buhari's administration in terms of the delivery of good governance to Nigeria. They said categorically that the president and his administration has failed Nigerians. They in fact said that the president lacks the will and the competence to lead Nigeria. Is that true? My partner tonight talking about is Ambassador Babangana Jimmy, is a member of the APC. Mr. Anthony Ehilebo is a member of the PDP and a lawyer. Let me get back to you, to our Abuja studio. Ambassador, before we went on that break, I wanted you to ponder on what the populace saying, that failure is not the end of the world. When someone says, look, the president and his administration has failed, maybe they got it wrong, is that a bad thing to say? They still have about 3 years to retrace their step if it is true they have failed.
Okay, Benga, it's not a matter of whether government has failed or not. What I'm saying is simple thing. Governance is a continuous thing, whether this government or the next government coming in. The thing is, what is happening on the ground now? We have to find out the indices, what is happening. The governance, they are doing their governance the way it should have been governed. Quite all right, there are some lapses. There is no governor that has no lapses. Of course, I accepted there are some lapses, but that lapses will not be counted as a plus for anybody coming out to say this and this. No, let's put our hands together as Nigerians. It's not about whether northeast, northwest, southwest, or south. No, now every part of the world, not Nigeria, every part of the world has one crisis or the other. It's a phenomenon that comes into this part of the world. So let's put our hands together on decks and work. The governance, of course, there are lapses. Nobody says there is no lapses.
But Ambassador Ajimi, apologies to butt in. They said, look at these two words that they used. You heard the spokesperson there saying of the Northern Elders Forum saying the president, Muhammadu Buhari, lacks the will and competence. Is there any truth in that?
No. How can, if he have the links and content, he wouldn't have even been voted into the second term in office. Because he has the will and the confidence, and he was well trained, even in the military ground. Talking lots of info. So that is the reason why even he was re-elected. So, and then who is saying that? Like what was said before. You know, anybody that comes in Nigeria, my problem is not about Nigeria. They are talking about individual self now. Today, you come in, look at everybody that's blaming Buhari. When you look at it, or the governor of Muhammadu Buhari, if you look at it, is either he's part of the former part of the government before he now go on opposition now to start blaming because he has not been settled on one opportunity or the other. Are we talking about Nigeria or are we talking about individual settlement? We are talking about Nigeria. Please, let's put Nigeria
Ambassador, let me allow the lawyer,
yes.
Mr. Hilbo, to come into it. Is it fair to say President Buhari lacks the will and competence to help resolve or solve the problems of Nigeria?
That's an absolute truth. Sean, you can't say this man has any problems right now. I mean, the last dispensation, the last tenure he had, he probably said he didn't have a good working relationship with the National Assembly. Right now, he has a Senate president that says he will work. In fact, we call the Senate president rubber stamp because anything sent to him from the presidency, he accedes to. You have a House of Representatives that has all utmost respect for him, and they'll do anything he says. In fact, 2 weeks ago, shockingly, the Speaker of the House, the video was leaked, where he had summoned the chief of army staff and all the service chiefs. And they sent accountants to attend to him, only for him to take it seriously. And when the video leaked the next day, I think he went to see the president, and they turned up. You see, when you say he lacks competence and willpower, we'd expect that rather than all this blame shifting that, I mean, people who speak for the presidency tend to do. Like my friend here is doing, blaming Nigerians who have no authority to authorize the spending of a budget or cannot even say whatever the security architecture of the country should look like. It is the president that was voted in as a retired major general, for God's sake, to help and rescue this country from the insurgents. But rather, we've seen pampered insurgents who are giving better treatment than people
Mr.
who have cost
let me say this, apologies, and I'll use your profession as an example. You're a lawyer. You've won cases and you've lost cases. If you lose a case, does it mean that you're a failure? Does it mean that you lack the will and the competence to be a lawyer?
Well, you can win and lose cases, but not when you have lost a case and you are not taking the matter as serious as it should be taken. I mean, there are instances where Mr. President let me even ask a question, Sheon. You're a media man. Again, I keep asking, how has the president tried to communicate with Nigerians and tell them and reassure Nigerians that, listen, I'm the father, I'm the president of this country, I will provide security for you, this is what I'm doing? How many times has he interacted with even you of the media? That's the truth. The truth is that we as Nigerians feel abandoned. We feel like we have to take security into our own hands. Look at the joy when the Southwest launched Amotekun. That should tell you the situation of the country. Every other region now is clamoring for their people to go and form a sort of self-help organization. Is that what we should have as a country? Is that the kind of security that we are talking about? Look at the average policeman that walks up to you. Look at how he's kitted. It will tell you. I mean, I've had situations where I've had to compare both a well-kitted policeman from somewhere, not even just South Africa, and compare them with a policeman in Nigeria and see how he's kitted, the kind of gadget. Go to a typical police station. Do they even have data? Do you even have a place for them to gather at your local police station to say this is the fingerprint of suspects that we've taken? We don't have that. We have not improved. This man has not improved any sector of our security architecture. And let's even look at what the Northern Elders Forum were talking about. They talked about the economic indices that affect this security we are talking about. How has he improved the economic life in areas such as the Northeast, my friend is from? How has the president made? What impact has he made to eradicate?
All right, we're out of time. Let me allow Ambassador Ajimi to give his final thought on the program tonight. And a similar kind of question I will ask you. If the president is elected to lead this country, and he made promises at the campaign that he's going to fix Nigerian problems, he's going to do this and that, and people are saying that he has failed, does it not behove on him as the leader to take responsibility?
Yeah, he has every reason to take responsibility of whatever accounts whatever happens in this nation. But it's showing this evening. You just pointed this evening. Even in a dinner, he spoke because Nigeria is at his heart. He spoke that look, he is promising the international community. He is trying to do all he can to take care of the Nigerians and bring all the captured people back to their homes. That to show that the man has the will and he is capable of doing it, and he has Nigerians at no matter wherever part of the world he is at heart. That's why he make that kind of statement far away from Ethiopia now on the OAU summit. Okay, fine. Let me come back to the nation. Sean, let me tell you something. Honestly. In one day, you can never, about security, you can't come out and be talking about to Nigerians, this is what we want to do, this is what we are doing. To security, you need a lot of things. And look at this lady that even they marched to French embassy. That shows that after the marching, they accused French embassy of collaborating with
we're out of
Nigeria.
Time, and we need to go.
But there is no press statement from them. That shows that there is international conspiracy in that things. So international conspiracy, if we
need to do Ambassador Ajimi. Apologies, we're out of time. Mr. Ilabo, a lawyer and a member of the PDP.
No, he was making a comment about a foreign nation, a sovereign nation of France, and saying that they are sponsoring terrorism. I'll be careful if you're speaking for government. We must speak with caution.
All right, we need to leave it at that because we're out of time. Apologies, we're out of time. Thank you so much. But before we go, let me quickly take some of your views, some of the tweets that you sent to us. I'll start with Ikujuni Adebiyi. At Adebiyi Ikujuni, he says the assurance is being his regular statement that is expected from him. But the question is, how soon or how long are they going to release those held hostage? He needs to step up his action. We need results. At Miri_Southcap says the president's declaration of the commitment to get BH captives released is a song we have heard for too long without any result. There is already a huge trust deficit in the minds of most Nigerians. This government is impervious to ideas for tackling insecurity. Those are some of your views that we can take on the program tonight. But that's our show, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye for now.